This is Susan Jeffries from Courage Rises. Thanks everybody for joining. I have the honor to be interviewing Jerilyn Brown today about courage and bravery in her life. And as I normally do, I'm going to have her introduce herself. So Jerilyn, why don't you go ahead and tell us your name and where you live and how old you are. I do ask how old you are because I want people to know that courage and bravery come at all ages, and it's never too late or too early to start practicing it.
Absolutely. I agree with you 100%. So I'm Jerilyn Brown. I live in Las Vegas, Nevada, and I'm 57 years old.
Fantastic. So what do you do for a living?
I have three jobs, but my main career is I'm a school teacher. This is my 34th year of teaching special education. And this is my only and first year of teaching it all online. It's quite a challenge to teach special education. I think it's a challenge to teach any education online, but it is quite a challenge to figure out how to teach special education online. I teach autistic kids and intellectually disabled kids.
Oh
So
my
I have
goodness.
that. Yeah, it's challenging, but they're doing an amazing job. I'm super proud of them. I'm really proud of myself too, because I've also had to learn a lot. And that's okay. That's kind of exciting, actually. And I also have a beauty business, and I have a new business that during this interesting situation that we're in with COVID, that I looked at my husband and said, I've just been handed a gift of time and I'm going to take advantage of it. And I sat down and wrote a program that I've been wanting to do for years. And that business is called Your Kind Mind.
Oh, so tell us about your kind mind. I'm just so curious.
So your kind mind could really be for anybody, but when you go into business, they say know who your target is. So my very specific target is women over 40 who consider themselves successful, and other people consider themselves successful, but they have this broken record in their head. They have this record in their head that is just makes them feel and sound broken. And so your kind mind is taking all of my experiences that I have had in my life, teaching and my personal experiences, and figuring out how to help women figure out how to become their own best friend.
Oh man, that's fantastic. I think so many women especially really need that kind of work.
Yeah.
Everybody has something to say about that. I won't bore you with my stories, but
But you're right. Everybody does. Everybody has stuff happen to them no matter what.
Mhm.
And so, yeah, I mean, that's what life is. People have stuff happen to them, and
Mhm.
how we decide to go about it really makes a difference with,
Yeah,
if we like ourselves or not.
it's very, very true. So when I was talking about Courage Rises, it seemed to resonate with you, and you volunteered very graciously. Thank you for to be on what I call my show.
Cool.
And I'd like to know about your experiences with courage and bravery, or if you just have some important things to say on this subject.
I think that a lot of us, I think so many people at some part of their life have had to show courage. And I'm certainly not one to judge of what one person feels is courage against another, but I just love the fact that you had this show. So I thought, well, shoot, I do think I have something to say about it.
Good, good.
But, um, it kind of goes to your kind mind. Actually, we've all had stuff happen to us. Just super quick rundown of where I kind of got into where my courage is. My biggest courage, just to tell you out loud right now to announce it, is when I decided that I was going to become my best friend.
That is courageous because it's
It's a
hard
tough
work.
thing to do.
It's hard
Oh,
work.
oh, and I'm still on that journey, but let me tell you, I am my favorite person to hang out with.
Good,
And
good.
it's taken me a long time to get there. So, but I'm like everybody else. I've had stuff happen. When I was around 11 years old, my grandfather sexually molested me. When I was, I had a bunch of stuff to work through on that. Then when I was, in my 20s, I was diagnosed with lupus. I've had all kinds of jaw problems. I had broken feet, and I'm a classically trained ballerina, so I didn't get to go and pursue that career, and all that stuff. that stuff was kind of, well, not the thing with my grandfather, but the other stuff was sort of little stuff, but it affected my life at the
Of
time in
course.
a great way, and it really shifted the direction of my life. When I was married, and at 29, my starter husband, whom I affectionately call my starter husband, came home and said we need to get divorced. Long story short, the reason we were getting divorced is because his girlfriend got pregnant. You know, you take just from the time of my grandfather to that, and there was a bunch of stuff that happened. You take that, that's a lot of crap.
That's 20 years of crap. Yeah.
Yeah, right? That's a lot of crap.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I'm not saying I'm anybody special with that, because everybody I know goes through some kind of crap,
Yeah,
you know.
some kind of crap
So,
for sure.
yeah, so what I've discovered is I am not that special in that way. And honestly, neither are any of us. We've all have crap. But the difference is how we decide to approach it. And so when I got divorced, one of my dear friends, after, days of crying, and Jerilyn, the best thing you could do for yourself is to learn to become your own best friend. And I thought, I'm, what do you mean? I like myself.
Yeah.
She said, you do like yourself, but you're not your best friend. And once you become your best friend, everything in your life will change.
When you stop blaming yourself and you start seeing yourself as strong, smart, creative, all of those things.
Mhm.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah. And stop beating yourself up over the little stuff and the big stuff,
And the big stuff.
and when you start to be able to differentiate and discern, what is your issue and what isn't your issue, what is your responsibility and what isn't your responsibility. And it's been years for me to learn that. But through a series of events in my life and choices, some good and some bad, that I had to take responsibility for all, I eventually learned to absolutely love who I am. And I'm remarried now. I say to my husband, next to me, I love you most. And he totally gets that. And he appreciates it, because next to him, he loves me most,
Yeah. Yeah.
you know.
And
But that is a courageous thing.
it is a courageous thing, because I know a lot of women who, if forced to say they were their own best friend, would start to cry, knowing it isn't
Oh,
true. Yeah. They
absolutely.
see all of their
Absolutely.
faults. They see all of their faults and very little of their gifts.
Yeah. And it's also courageous to be able to just declare that to the world, because some people will think you're arrogant,
Mm-hmm.
and some people will think you are, looking for attention.
Mm-hmm.
And that's okay. And in truth, I can't think of anything more more courageous than to be able to say, and through it all, I loved me more than anybody. I also had an experience when I was 46. My fiance, we've been together for 8 years. When I was 46, he was diagnosed with leukemia.
Oh, I'm sorry.
And thank you. And we went through a lot of garbage with that.
Mm-hmm.
And he went through a bone marrow transplant, and everything that could go wrong did go wrong. And in the end, I knew I was going to walk away from that relationship with nothing but my memories,
Mm-hmm.
and a ring on my finger. And that was it. I wasn't going to have anything else. But, because years prior, I had already learned to become my best friend, I was able to get through that. I was able to say, okay, every single day, I'm going to make this the very, very best day that you have ever had. And every single night, I got dressed up as if we were going out on a date. And I put on the high heels and the cute dress and the makeup and the whole bit and the jewelry. And even if all we did was sit in a hospital room, hold hands, and watch Two and a Half Men, I made sure that we did that.
Yeah.
We had a date.
Mm-hmm.
And that took a lot of courage too, to stick that out, knowing that in the end
It was going to be over.
it was going to be over. But I promised him that I would be there for him through everything. And I kept waiting for all that depression and, all those feelings to come to me. And I went to grief counseling and the whole bit. But, even though I felt incredibly sad, every time I walked into my house and I saw the pictures, I felt sad. But I never actually got depressed.
Mm-hmm.
And I know a lot of that is because I love myself more than anybody else. So I took extreme care while he was sick so I could take care of him,
Mm-hmm.
and extreme care of myself after he passed away so that I could go on and live a joyful life.
That is a really courageous thing to do. I mean, I think that it takes a lot of looking inside and peeling back the onion a little bit at a time. I know you have your online presence with.
Your kind mind, I have your kind mind, and I'm always saying be kinder than necessary to yourself so you can be kinder than necessary to others.
So, how do you recommend that, if people, they can't relate to that idea, I mean, how do you get them to take a step on that journey?
Women say this to me all the time. I have no idea who I am.
Yeah.
I have no idea who I am. But, if you are finding that, like, I have no idea who I am, you question your integrity. A lot of women don't dare communicate.
What they
And
need
it
and
could,
what they want, you mean?
and it could be something as big as we need to talk.
Mm-hmm.
We need to talk.
Yes.
And it could be as small as asking somebody in their family to take out the trash. But they don't do it because and it could be anything in between, but they don't ask, or they don't do it, or they don't communicate because they are so afraid of how it will be, how others will react to them and respond to them, or they're so afraid of being invalidated. They won't give their opinion about something because they're
Mm-hmm.
going to be told they're stupid, or people will laugh at them, or all those things that we feel. So I also find that being able to learn how to communicate and do it nicely
Mm-hmm.
is huge. So kind actually represents something. There's actually a process. So the K is basically you're the keeper. You are the keeper of your mind.
Yeah.
And when you think of what a keeper does, a keeper is somebody who's in charge of something very important, a treasure, animals, keys, So you are the keeper of your own mind. That's the K.
Mm-hmm.
And then the I in kind means identity and integrity, because they go very close hand in hand. You
They
have
certainly
to know
do.
who you are to be able to hold your own integrity. The N goes back to communicating, to learn how to communicate nicely.
Nicely. And we have kind of a dearth of that in our climate right now. The political climate, put the pandemic on top of it, and people are just
Yeah,
a little out of control sometimes.
exactly. And what I find with women often, where they feel the most invalidated is when it comes to getting validation from others, and you get it from communicating. And so a lot of them, they totally avoid any kind of a hard subject or anything that might be taken wrong.
Mm-hmm.
It's so difficult that they totally shut down, and they basically lose their voice. And that is huge in
Yeah.
the way that we view ourselves. When you don't feel like you can say something,
Or
and
advocate for yourself.
or
Yeah.
advocate for yourself. And then the D means to discern. Because there's a lot that we need to be able to discern in our own minds. And it could be anything from the difference of feeling guilty about something and badly about something. The difference between being able to discern is, this isn't my issue,
Mm-hmm.
it's your issue.
Yes. Not my
You
circus,
know,
not my monkeys.
exactly. It's perfect way of saying it. And when you can learn to do that really well, you start to have greater control, and they all work with each other. All of those, all the K, the I, the N, the D.
I love that. I think you're absolutely right. And I think that practice makes perfect when it comes to the courage to start on that journey.
Yeah.
You just make one step. And if it doesn't go well, it's not a failure. It's just one step. And you can
Right.
try it again and a
Yeah.
little differently or at a different time.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I've made a lot of mistakes. I've done a lot of things I shouldn't have done. I've had to go back and restore my integrity. But I also love the phrase progress over perfection,
Yes, I agree.
because a lot of times what happens is when we try to do something perfect, we don't do anything at all because it isn't perfect.
Mm-hmm.
And so you just wait to become perfect, but you can't become perfect if you don't practice it
Yeah, it's
and
true.
you don't learn all the other ways of doing it.
And you need to find out that what you're after is moving forward or progress, as you say. You just
Yes.
need to move forward. I,
You
I'm
know,
I'm very excited about your kind mind. So how
thank
many
you.
people are participating right now?
Well, I just started it. So I started to advertise it, and I only just used my own, my own page, my own, I didn't like go buy anything, although I
Sure.
will be eventually. And I had 11 women sign up.
Oh, that's awesome.
And I was thrilled with that. Honestly, I thought, whoa, well, yay. I was going to be happy if 3 signed up, you know, but 11 signed up. And then after the 5-day challenge, it was every night, every day they had some kind of like a worksheet kind of challenge
Mm-hmm.
that really had them thinking. And then every night we got onto a Zoom and we talked about the KIND. And then they would work like the next day on whatever it is we talked about the night before. And then at the end of that, I offered them some more um, help and some more stuff. So and they took me up on that too. So I was thrilled. Not everybody showed up online
Mm-hmm.
live because not everybody can, you
Mm-hmm.
know. And so that's why you record it and you say,
Yes.
do this when you can.
But what you're helping people with is transformative. I talk about the transformative aspect of courage. It was in my life because I integrated it into who I believed I was. You are
Yeah,
helping these women integrate kindness to themselves and self care into who they are. And that will
yeah.
be transformative in some way or other.
The lady that really got me started on this, I worked with years ago, and um, we worked actually as colleagues. We worked very, very closely with each other. And one day she came to me and she said, I need to talk to you. And I said, okay. And she said, I can't do this anymore. And I thought, I don't know. So what does that mean? Like in my mind, I'm thinking, you can't teach with me anymore. You can't teach at all anymore. You can't be married anymore. You can't live anymore. Like there's a,
You don't like me
line of,
anymore?
yeah, you don't like me anymore. What is this? What does that mean? And so I said, well, what does that mean? And she said, I'm not sure I can continue to live anymore. I need help.
Oh, literally not be here.
Literally not be here. And I loved this woman very much. And I knew she was struggling, but I had no idea that that was a struggle. So we began this journey together to help her to learn to love herself. She became very brave and very courageous in
Mm-hmm.
being able to stand up for herself in a kind but firm way to her family and her husband
Mm-hmm.
and to other people and etc. And so, what was lovely is while I was writing this program these last 7 months, she called me one day and I just finished figuring out what the KIND meant like 2 days before. And I'd spent weeks on it because they had to be very specific,
And
right? And I really, really, really wanted them to spell the word kind. And she got a hold of me and she happened to call me one night about literally 2 days after I got it all figured out. You can see her number come up on the phone, and I picked it up and I said, so and so, I am so happy you called. I need to hear your voice. And she said to me, Jerilyn, I need you to hear mine. And I said, good. She said, I need you to hear that because of what you did for me all those years ago, I have a voice.
yeah, that's
And
amazing.
and I am happy and I am fulfilled and I am doing all these things. And then she spent the next hour just telling me about this beautiful, amazing, joyful life that she went on to create. And here's the truth. I'm not the reason why. She's the reason why. She was
Yes.
willing to listen to what I said. I just happened to be the person standing there guiding her and directing her, but she made those conscientious
Yes.
choices,
And that's
you
always the
know.
case. You cannot make a change in your life without you deciding to do it.
Yeah, it has
And
to be your decision. Yeah,
yeah,
absolutely. And you deserve the credit. I'm really excited about I'm really, really excited to see where your kind mind is going to go.
I am too. I'm thrilled for you. I'm very excited for the women who are going to participate and finding the transformations, taking the decisions they need to make a transformation in their lives. It's very exciting. Well, Jerilyn, I have so loved our conversation. Thank you for being a guest on Courage Rises. I love seeing how you're influencing others with their courage and your kind mind. Those of you who are listening, I encourage you to go and find Your Kind Mind. It's on Facebook, right, Jerilyn?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, perfect. Go
Yeah,
find it.
it's on Facebook.
And you want to know this woman. I can tell you right now.
Well,
Great.
that's kind of you, and I appreciate it. Thanks for this opportunity. I've really enjoyed it. Sorry for all the technical issues.
Oh yeah, so I'm going to edit out the technical difficulties as best I can. But those of you who are watching, if there were any glitches, we had power, we had video, we had all kinds of issues. But anyway, I think they're fixed.
Yeah, yeah.
Thanks again,
Thanks. I
Carolyn.
really appreciate it, Suki. Thank you so much. And as always, be kinder than necessary to yourself so you can be kinder than necessary to others.
This is Susan Jeffries of Courage Rises. Thanks for joining us for episode 9 of Courage Rises with Jerilyn Brown. If you have thoughts or experiences to share around the subject of courage or bravery, or have a practice of your own on these topics, please email me at susan@couragerises.life. I would love to hear from you. Stay tuned for episode 10, which will be released on Friday, October 23rd, and will be with Carrie Davis.